Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into, well, this album's 20th anniversary, and it's from one of my favorite bands in the thrash metal genre. And this album is so underrated, it's not even funny. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into The Gathering by Testament. This was the band's, I believe, seventh or eighth album, released on June 28th, 1999 through Burnt Offering Records or Spitfire Fire Recording Records. Now, of course, Testament doesn't need an introduction. One of the best bands in like the whole Bay Area thrash scene in the 80s. And this album, compared to like their like some of their older stuff, like classics like New Order or Legacy, See Practice What You Preach, Souls of Black, has that thrash stuff. But this here, The Gathering, is kind of different. You could also hear it a little bit on Demonic. This is kind of where Testament still has that kind of thrash metal style, but they also incorporate a lot more of a death metal feel, especially like in the vocals. Like Chuck Billy still has that kind of thrashy vocals, but he kind of like goes to like the more guttural singing, which almost sounds like he's death metal. And it just sounds so fucking brutal. And this is actually one of the only albums that have, of course, now former Slayer drummer Dave Lombardo playing drums on this, and he does a great job. Although nothing beats, of course, I forget their old drummer that played on the first couple albums, and of course their current drummer, the almighty Gene Hoglan. He also played on, I believe, the Demonic album. Yeah, production wise, it's just fantastic. Of course, Chuck Billy, like I said, the vocals are really great. Chuck Billy can do no wrong. Has that guttural feel. It just sounds really just death metal, almost extreme metal, with also the thrashiness. Of course, guitar wise, this is one of the few albums. Of course, a lot of people don't know Alex Skolnick was not on this album. They have James Murphy doing the shredding, and of course, Eric Peterson holds down the riffs. Bass wise, Steve DiGiorgio, he's a monster at the bass. One of the best bassists, and honestly, I think he's super underrated in my opinion. And drumming wise, I mean, Dave Lombardo is one of my all-time favorite drummers. He can do no wrong on the drums. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now the album opens up with DNR, which is Do Not Resuscitate, which fades in with foreboding orchestra strings, which sounds kind of weird, and then Dave's subtle but primal percussion work. You can already tell that Testament won't be half-assing on this one. And when Eric Peterson's crushing riffs and Lombardo's incredibly intense groovy drumming comes crashing in, the synergy between the two is pretty much on this right here is astounding. Your initial fade in this new Testament is richly awarded, while Dave's drumming isn't quite as awesome as on, like, say, Forgotten Seasons in the Abyss by Slayer. It isn't too far off either, and Chuck Billy's guttural death growl tinged roaring is just the icing on the cake here. And overall with DNR, not only this is Testament ironically playing faster than most of the stuff from their pure thrash heyday, but they're also writing much more interesting, smoothly flowing material that on the awkward, like, low demonic songs. That's a pretty good preview of what's to come on the rest of the album. Down for Life is pretty much where Chuck starts to shine, adding as much groove as the guitars. If you think Dave's playing with Slayer's impressive, check out how fast he can play on his double bass, but even faster, which, holy shit. And only to suddenly break into like a steady beat that the song drops a hat. And for a guy who constantly plays sing on like on top drummer list, Dave is often dismissed, but only a fool could listen to his work here and not acknowledge his skill. That's just me. Eyes of Wrath was where the band really hits their stride and starts to play like they've been together forever instead of like in one-off supergroove. While the riffs let up for a few seconds of whispered vocals, I shudder every time. I feel like Chuck finds that perfect balance between his death grunts and his older, kind of like more melodic voice, and this firmly establishes him as possibly the finest vocalist in like extreme metal or in just metal in general. True Believer, which continues on its way, the way of the most almost mid-paced heavy music with a great sense of melody and catchiness throughout the always violent riffs on here. 3 Days of Darkness is where the groove is more incisive than in the guitars, as you stated from my, and then I just can't resist doing like just some intense headbanging to this song. Next song on the album is called Legions of the Dead, which takes about like 2 seconds to like just smash your face in, and spends the next 2.5 minutes kicking you while you're down. And the bridge part and the first chorus are standout parts of the album. The vocals are roaring, hearing the double kick drums are pounding and the guitars are being just extremely slaughtered. The song has a small Modern Slayer-esque pause in the middle before the solo and the abrupt finish to it. Careful What You Wish For has a great bass line as well as a glorious chunky riff. The chorus is insanely catchy, and you'll be humming it for hours after you're done. Sorry, I feel bleh. Anyway, moving on to Riding the Snake is one of those moments. It's not only does have a fluid bass line eerily opening the track, but I feel like Steve DiGiorgio just has this frantic finger pick jazz fusion fits perfectly under a crushing yet melodic riff, and it combines sort of like the swagger that is on like Souls of Black with the heaviness of Low and the speedy melody of Eyes of the Wrath. In short, if this isn't the best band, if this isn't the band's best song, it's in the top 3 in my opinion. Alliance, I can't even speak today, is probably the fastest track on the album. The drums leap out of the mix and they're a powerful feature of the song. As with a lot of the songs on this album, the vocals fade blankly into like the rhythm guitars blare. Sewn Shut Eyes, try saying that 5 times fast, is an absolutely incredible song, possibly one of the only song on the album that doesn't sound similar to the next one. Everyone in the band plays the song to perfection, and the lyrics are very well thought out and truly meaningful. Pinch harmonics and double bass drumming are of abundance and used well. Well, certainly one of my favorite Testament songs and possibly one of their best to date. I feel like just like excellent, just slaying, ripping, just heavy thrash metal. And then the album closes with Fall of Sepildome. And with the album's closer, it builds with like a slower but still quite pacey part with some great tom rolls backed by guitars, and the song ramps up then and acts up to like the song proper. And the vocals here are like the most death-like but suit the song. And the song builds and builds through some verses and the chorus not taking a breath, and then out of nowhere it slows right down and we are shown an amazing solo. And the solo acts to build the song back into the final fast part of the song, which closes the album. Now overall, Gathering by Testament is a very underrated album in their discography. Not a whole lot of people talk about this album. It's a damn shame, and I really wish they would play like a lot more of these songs live. So if I were to give this album a score, I'm definitely gonna give this a perfect 10 out of 10. It's really up there. And who knows, like a little bit after that, though, they would take a little break because of some other stuff which are going on. So yeah, I just think it's a really great album. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me in the comments what you guys think of The Gathering by Testament, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.